Hi.
Hi, how are you? Thank you for visiting.
Yes, I'm doing well. Thank you for having me. How are you?
I'm good. So where are you at right now?
I'm actually in South Carolina.
Oh, okay. All
Yeah.
right.
So I'm in the US.
How's the weather there?
It's nice. We've had about a week of high 60s, 70s. So it's cooling off, but I think we're
Okay.
headed for the 80s again. So
Yeah. And when do you think you'll be heading back?
yes, and hopefully the middle of October. So my sister is
Nice.
getting married October 10th. So I'm kind of in limbo, stuck here until then. But after that, I'm free to return and
Wow.
hopefully all will go smoothly.
Oh, there's one student coming in. Hello, Gabby. Hi. We're gonna wait a few minutes for the others. I just got an email from one student, so let me see where she's at. Okay, she's driving home. Okay, that's okay. How are you, Gabby?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, you're not freezing.
Not freezing, not yet.
Sometimes it's freezing in the dorms.
Oh, yes, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember the days back in the days.
Oh, yeah.
It's been a while.
Lanny's here. I'm just gonna wait for a few more minutes. Okay. All right, I'll just keep opening the door. Hi, Martina.
Hi. Sorry.
Oh. Did you guys just joined Professor Selby just a few minutes ago? Okay. It overlaps our meetings, so I figured, maybe some students got stuck in there. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, Sydney's running late. And hopefully the others make it for our guest speaker. How are you, Lanny? Long day?
Very long. How are you?
Good. Has it been a long day?
Yeah.
Same here. Wednesdays are long for me. There's like meetings everywhere. So. Okay, come on, guys. Well, actually, we're early, so that's good. See if I can send a short email. They're usually on time, except today. Well, not talking about your professional career. What about your family, Christina?
Yes. So I grew up in Virginia Beach area. And now I have my dad's in Georgia, my mom's in Colorado, and my oldest brother is out in Colorado as well with his family and his 2 kids. And then my younger sister's in Richmond, Virginia. And she's just about to get married in less than a month. So that's exciting. In a pandemic, nonetheless. So we're excited.
So also there in Carolinas, your sister?
Her wedding will be in Virginia.
Oh, Virginia, that's right.
Yes. And then, yep, I'm kind of home based here in South Carolina. So
Ah,
we're all over a little bit.
Brianna's here. Just trickling in. Hi, Brianna. How are you? That's okay. I talk right away. You can unmute whenever.
I don't think she heard you.
Okay. Okay. They're all coming in. Awesome. All right. Hi, guys. Who are we missing? Let's see. Sydney made it. All right. We don't want to keep our guests waiting.
No problem.
Abby's here. Here we go. Okay, guys, let's welcome Christina Linthicum. Is that how you say your last name?
Is yes. Well
Perfect.
done.
All right. These are aspiring educators. As you can
Yay.
see, they're going to be awesome teachers.
I'm so excited. I'm so glad to be here with you guys.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes.
All right, take it away.
Okay, you ready?
Thanks.
All right, well, I think I can share my screen. Yes.
Let me double check if I get, yep, you can share it now.
Okay, we'll just jump in. Let's see.
Okay.
Okay, you guys see it? Okay. All right.
All right.
We got a few more coming on
Yeah, they all just made it.
in.
Thanks.
Great. Good. Well, the gang's all here.
Yes, yes. We have another gang, but they're doing the asynchronous learning.
Okay.
So this is the gang that meets every Wednesday night.
All right. Well, thank you for having me. I'm so glad to be here.
Thank you.
Yes, so my name's Christina Linthicum. I live normally in Tunis, Tunisia, the yellow one there in the middle, in North Africa. So Tunisia is a country of nearly 11 million people. And the capital where I live is just over 500,000. And like much of North Africa, Tunisia is 99%, the religious makeup is 99% Muslim, which has vast impacts on all aspects of culture, including education. And so, yeah, it's a beautiful place to live and work. I love it. There's lots to say about Tunisia, but we'll jump into the aspects of education and social emotional learning specifically. And firstly, I guess I'll focus on Tunisian education, Tunisian schools, although this information on this slide and about Tunisian schools is not firsthand. I've not taught in Tunisian schools. I meant to tell you a little bit more about what I do in Tunisia, but I will get there. This information would be more from just talking with friends, asking me, what's education like in America? How does this work? How does that work? And me piecing that together, as well as from students, Tunisian students of mine or parents of students of mine. Just hearing how their educational experience took place and how it worked out for them in the Tunisian schools. So this would be secondhand, kind of as an outsider looking in. So not to distract you with all these words on the screen, but I've worked as you read, kind of as Dr. Kropf passed out, but I've worked in preschools teaching Tunisian kids, and currently I'm in an international school, K to 12. And so we have a number of Tunisian students, but so let me start here with the Tunisian schools. So as I said, being 99% a highly religious country, 99% Muslim, a lot of that does trickle down into the culture and into the educational system. And so there is this idea that you are not to question authority. Just as in Islam, they are not to question Allah, not to question their religious leaders or what they find in the Quran. Similarly, in the classroom, the teacher has the very final word. You're not to question what it says in the textbook. You know, there's not a lot of room to question or to have a opposing vantage point or viewpoint. And so I want to be careful not to make judgments about the system, but there are some social and emotional factors that would, you know, play into some of these cultural norms. And you can even see it in as the society is growing up and graduating and looking for jobs, and there is kind of a visible lack of creativity, ingenuity, of fresh ideas and new ideas. You can kind of see this stifling of sorts playing out as you're just to accept what you're given and count on that to move forward. So that's one thing. And then I have here like a rigid curriculum, kind of a prescriptive curriculum, a lot of rote memorization. Again, even as the religion impacts the schools, a lot of just memorizing the Quran and repeating it without a lot of meaning behind it. And I think that plays into the education as well. But a very prescriptive, very much telling the student, this is how it is, this is how it goes. And when I was working with preschoolers, I was working alongside of a Tunisian teacher, and I thought the students were working just on a coloring page, and the kids had a little page of an apple that they were coloring. But I realized that it was more of a worksheet that the teacher was taking each student through, and even the directions were to color the apple red, and to color the stem brown, and to color the leaf green. And the teacher was holding their hand, these little 4-year-olds, making sure they didn't color outside of the lines. And it was just a picture to me that it's very prescriptive. This is the right way. This is how we color an apple. And there isn't a lot of room for creativity, again, for playful learning, for discovery, kind of for trial and error. Those are not seen as much as we would see in an American system or a Western system, probably. And then the educational system is highly competitive, but it is competitive, but it's kind of, the competition is used as a motivator. And it's common to hear teachers, even as young as the preschoolers, to hear them, oh, this one is really bright, really smart, probably the top of our class. I'm like, but it's preschool, and this one is, I don't know, just she's not very bright. And it was a little shocking to me, but even as you get into the older, higher grades, she's top of the class, he's probably not going to pass, his state exams at the end of the year. And I think that the goal is motivation. And I think that, the view is that this should be a good thing. You should be motivated by this to work harder if you're at the bottom, or to keep up the good work if you're at the top. But, we could make some social emotional connections that kind of is difficult with trusting your teacher, with cooperation with your classmates, different things that that has an impact on stress and anxiety for sure, especially as you get into the older grades in high school. And their senior year is a very stressful year with state final exams playing a huge role in whether they'll get to college, which colleges they'll be accepted to, and different things. And that competition plays a highly stressful role in their lives that year. And then just also their grades, as in talking to students often, and even in college, Tunisians feel that their grades are highly subjective. It's a common theme that we had no idea what to expect on the exam. We studied everything from our syllabus. We studied, and nothing that we, expected was on it. She never taught us. Just really a lack of trust, maybe it's a broken trust, I think, in the system, but it also kind of is a picture of Islam in the culture and in the system, where, even as far as what is acceptable, how do we get to heaven, even, what is the right thing, and how do we know how to do it? And there's kind of this bait and switch sometimes. And so there's a lot of social, emotional learning factors in Tunisian schools that I am an observer of. I don't claim to be the expert on Tunisian schools, but what I can say is a lot of our American students then were their parents trying to decide, how do we school our children? They're not doing well in this setting oftentimes if they start there, and just looking for a solution. And so the school that I'm working at, the international school, began about 5 years ago. And I've been working there for the last 2 years. And at our school is mostly made up of third culture kids, which I saw Dr. Kropp sent out that to do a little research on your own. But if you're not certain of this term or aware of this term or use it a lot, third culture kids are kids who they were born in their home culture, or at the least their families are from one culture, and they are growing up in a second culture, but they have loose ties at best, perhaps, to their home culture, the culture of their parents, their families. But of course, they're not of the same culture of their host culture, and so they feel this tension of, where do I fit? And you have this third culture kind of emerge of who these kids are. We don't really belong here, but we'll never belong here. And this photo is from our school. Each of these kids is a third culture kid, whose families are from China, Turkey, 3 American students in the middle, Syria, and South Korea. And so these are my favorite kids. I love working with these kids. And these are just some commonalities about third culture kids in general. You see their transition multiple times in all caps. Their lives are often marked by transition. Whether they're missionary families whose parents are doing church planting or evangelistic work or community development or different things, or military kids, military families, ambassadors' children, embassy families. There's a lot of transition, whether their missionary team is changing or military and ambassador families often taking new posts every few years. So either they are moving, or their peers are moving, or the adults in their lives are moving or changing, but their lives are quite often marked by a lot of transition. And these kids are highly adaptive. It's kind of their superpower, and also perhaps a curse, but they're just able to adapt to new situations, even sometimes a chameleon effect for different people or personalities or different settings that they find themselves in. They're highly adaptive, and just have a broad worldview. They've been to a lot of countries, usually seen a lot of different cultures, just really open-minded, creative and collaborative, and have a really broad worldview. So those are third culture kids. And then my setting where I find myself is this international school, and kind of a mixture of a number of Tunisian students, either coming out of a Tunisian school setting, or they themselves then are kind of in this odd culture where the school, our international school, it's an American education. It's kind of our branding. It's what we offer is an American-based education. And so Tunisian families want to be a part for English, to be competitive in colleges if they want to study outside of Tunisia or in different parts of the world. So all of our kids are a little bit in this odd setting, just very multicultural. Again, third culture, some of these Tunisians in a second culture, but some factors, therefore, that we're looking at and really highly aware of. I love our school because we are highly aware of these factors and want to educate students to be global thinkers, to be ones who have humility for one another. And so, I think that we try to do a good job of being really aware of these social emotional factors in learning environments and in academics. And so one thing that we're definitely highly aware of is these cross-cultural relationships, and really helping students keep and celebrate the cultures that they come from, and talking about those experiences and gifts that we all bring to the table, and also discussing how to relate to one another. And we have a lot of English language learners as well in our elementary and even in our middle and high schools at times. And so just being really aware of the cross-cultural, both the social aspect of that and the emotional aspect of, like we've discussed, different kids starting into the school or feeling like the only one from here or the only child like this, but helping give a voice to those things, and a place to discuss those feelings and emotions as well. Things like international days are things that we've kind of incorporated into our school year and celebrated different each month, just kind of some outside activities too. Each month we have a community breakfast that we just even try to celebrate and foster cross-cultural relationships with families as well, realizing that it's important for these families to interact and know one another and grow those cross-cultural bonds and just camaraderie and friendship as well. And we've kind of mentioned these high transition rates. I think we had a number of students just entering throughout the middle of the year, ambassador families who we had one girl actually was in China when the outbreak began with COVID last year, and she transferred back to our school. She was Tunisian. She was in classes for about a week before we went to lockdown, and we all ended up being virtual the end of last year. And so just families and students moving around a lot, and trying to address those things well. Last year we had as well, our 6th grade class was 3 girls. And toward the end of the year, we realized that 2 of those families were moving back to the US before or by the end of the school year. And just realizing that teacher, realizing the effects of that for her classroom, for each of the students, the social impact that was having and would have for the one left behind for next year, even, and just taking the time and making the space to emote, to have those conversations and feel those feelings together as well, and introducing different traditions as well. Our principal had like a key to the school, and just began now, as students leave kind of for good or move to a new place, having a ceremony and allowing students to mark that passage or that transition in a way that is meaningful and impactful, and giving the student leaving the key to the school, and telling them you're always welcome, you'll always have friends here, you can always come back. But I think realizing as well that those markers and those traditions, and giving that time and space for that emotional aspect of things as things transition and change. And I think another aspect of third culture kids, and we've seen it just in general at our school, is a lot of grief. And let's see, intangible grief. I was just thinking about different grief that either things are happening across the world in my family or with grandparents, or different things that as a child, as pre-K to 12th grade, as a child, as a student, I can't quite touch it or feel it, or I don't know how to express it. Or I know that it's real, but it's so far away, and it becomes this intangible grief of sorts. And as well, these compounded griefs, just again, with so much transition and so much loss, seeing these types of griefs and losses just pile up and compound. And an example that we saw this past year as well, kind of 2 examples. We had a middle schooler whose dog died the very first day of school, which would be horrible in and of itself. But you could just tell that it was taking on, it became this kind of like a place to put a lot of other grief, if that makes sense. Like it became a representative for a number of other intangible or just compounding griefs. And that student, we were able to talk about things, and she was able to leave class when she needed to, and be at the nurse's station, or just deal with this emotional aspect on campus in a safe place. And as well, for our 2nd grade class, it was just a tough year for animals, but they had a class pet. They had a little rabbit, and this rabbit died early on last year as well. And we have a school social worker on campus, which is such a gift for us and such a huge resource for us. And I would have never thought about this, but she she sent home like an obituary. She had the little bunny's picture on it, and she wrote a letter to the parents, dear families of CCA, we are all so sad. It was just very serious and taking it very seriously. But telling them that there would be a special service and students would be able on, our morning meeting next week, they can write letters, they can draw pictures. And she very wisely as well realized that, again, this was a place that these young second, third, fourth graders, they might miss their Benny, but I think more importantly, they had a place to put some of their grief. And it was a neat experience to watch and see just her skill set serve our students and serve their emotional needs, even their social needs of moving through this grief together as students. And yeah, it was a neat thing to see her move them through that process so well as these young kids grieved. So yeah, I think those are some of the initial thoughts that I have as far as TCKs, international students. I would be remiss to not show you guys as you wrap up your studies, or if you need a place to do your student teaching, Carthage Classical Academy, check out our school, and it's a lovely place to serve and to work on the Mediterranean with amazing international students and third culture kids. So yeah, I think back to you, Dr. Kropp, if there are questions or anything else you'd like to address.
That is so awesome that you mentioned that, the teaching part, but we'll go to that one last. Do you guys have any question for her? Are you guys like moved? And it's so different, isn't it? Any question for her before I give her all my questions?
I have a question. Is it like a hard process for the students to get in, or is it easy?
Yeah, that is a great question. An important factor is their English level. So all of our main academic courses all of our courses are in English. They study French and they study Arabic, which Tunisians have a leg up. But so the most important factor is to be sure that they can study and do academics in English. And then, I wouldn't say that it's not a rigorous, difficult school to get into. We really see our job as ministry, our classrooms, and our school as a safe haven. We were sometimes to the teachers thinking, why that we can't service this child? Like, are you sure we can service this child? But our directors love finding a place for these kids. But last year we were able to take a 10th grader who had been being bullied in his Tunisian school, and he actually was commuting an hour and a half up to our school. He's Tunisian British, and so he had the English, and we were able to take him. And this year we've added his two brothers and his cousin, and so it really is a neat atmosphere to be able to service all sorts of kids, Tunisians, third culture kids. But no, there are a couple of much more expensive international schools that would be seen as much more rigorous and academic, but I'd say ours is.
One more question. Thank you for answering. Is it So is this one, do they have to pay also? Is it like less expensive than the ones you're talking about?
Right. So it is, I don't know how to compare or dollars or whatnot, but there's a British school and there's an American school, and they are both much more expensive than our school. That a lot of embassy families, ambassadors, and different government workers have their kids there. So our school would be much less expensive than that. It might be definitely competitive, if not a little bit more expensive or right on the line with other private schools in Tunisia. So yes, compared to their local public schools, of course, it's got an expense to it.
Okay, thank you for answering. I was curious.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anybody else? You know, you mentioned bullying, which is like one of the predominant SEL problems we have in American schools. And a lot of that is kind of manifested from home life. Just, you know, whatever happens at home, it gets manifested back in school. So if the child is abused at home or treated in a certain way, he or she would just inflict the same kind of treatment to other students. What do you think is the predominant reason why there are bullying in Tunisia?
Yeah, that is a great question. There is a lot of, just culturally, there's a lot of, I don't want to be overly generalizing, but I mean, we see a lot of fighting, even just in the street. You'll see young boys just kind of brawling. You'll see boys very aggressive with young women. And so I think that it is a bit of a maybe aggressive or I don't want to say angry, but it's a very boisterous, it's a very straightforward, just this is how it is type of communication styles. And I don't know if that plays into it. Going back to this competition and this kind of just saying things how it is with grades, and well, she's top of the class and he's bottom of the class. And even with us as Westerners, me going to friends' houses, it's very common for, my friend's mom to be like, oh, Christy, wow, you've gotten really fat. I'm like, I don't even know if that's a good thing or some bad thing. Like, or they're like, you've gotten really skinny. I'm like, is this bad? I don't know. But so it's also just, they just say everything, and it's not offensive in their mind. But so I don't know if that plays into this bullying where it crosses lines and of course becomes ugly. I mean, this boy knew it was ugly, but so I don't know. Those are some thoughts. I don't know why. We're always a student of culture. We're always
right. It's almost like they don't filter what they say or do. There's no filtering. Which we're trying to teach the kids here,
Yes.
Yeah, that is interesting. And it's also interesting the way the exams are, the grades, that's so magnified in what they do. So basically, without Christ, that's their identity, right? Their grade or how the scores that they did.
Right.
So yeah.
Yes.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and depending on family structures, of course, there's different levels of how important that is. Either you've got some who just, well, you'll work, at a lower type level job, and that's what we're used to, and that's fine. Or you've got others that are paying crazy astronomical prices for tutoring every day, every Saturday, every night, because you better, get this grade in this test and make it into these different types of training or schooling or, so yeah, it definitely has an impact on their identity, their self-view and how they see themselves for sure.
Interesting. Tell us, as far as, teaching at Carthage Classical Academy or any type of international school, why do you think that's a good avenue for certain students? And then how is that different from going through the whole credential program here in California or in other states? Just the difference, and how can that enhance their teaching skills?
As far as
trying out international school first before going to credential, or
Sure.
like that. Because I'm sure when these nice ladies graduate, they're gonna think of master's in education maybe, or go for the teaching credential. As far as the avenue of going to international school, what will be the highlights of that, and how would that prepare them to be an actual teacher?
Sure. Yeah, I think that some benefits, definitely, I just cannot say enough the benefit of a cross-cultural experience, just being outside of your norm. If your norm is rather homogeneous, or one just never left California or whatnot, I just cannot stress how valuable a cross-cultural experience is. One benefit educationally and being in the classroom is just smaller class sizes. I, after my master's, ended up not ever teaching in the US. I did long-term subs and different things, but I just love that I'm able to teach in these smaller class sizes. Our class is probably an average of 5 to 6 students in a classroom. And so we're able to be extremely just versatile in lesson planning and what we're able to do to teach the different content areas. And with our space and with our with the content that we're presenting. And then I do think that just working alongside such a vast and diverse group of educators, it's been neat to work with Tunisians, with folks from Sweden, with just different perspectives to see, you guys do it this way, and to really wrestle through philosophy of education. Why do we do it this way? And do I think that our way is better just because that's my culture and my background, or am I open to stretch and expand my philosophy of education? So it's been an extremely valuable and neat experience.
Brianna, you have a question?
I thought I put in the chat so I don't talk too much.
Oh, that's fine. I missed it.
Do you need a master's or teaching credentials to teach there?
Well, so I'm not familiar with the teaching credentials, or how California state law and teaching and how you are credentialed. We would say that we would like for you to have like a bachelor's in education, and we would like for our teachers to have their teaching certificate, which might be the same as the credentials. However, we are ACSI certified, and so our teachers do not have to be have their licenses current or even be licensed in some cases. So the quick answer is no, not necessarily.
So they'll accept a bachelor's in psychology with educational psychology concentration. I think that's an awesome degree. Right, girls?
I agree, especially when you look at all the social and emotional factors of these precious international students. Yes, that would be an incredible background to bring to the table.
Yeah, great question. Thank you. I kind of wish I went that route when I was younger, just so I can travel more before I settle down, you know.
Right.
But yeah, any other questions, girls? I know it's almost time for break. You have been so wonderful, Christina, and thank you so much for joining us. Will you stop by Life Pacific after this whole COVID-19 is over, and if you're in US?
I would love to. Yes. Amy Selby is one of my just dear friends, and she's been begging me to come hang out with her in LA and get to the school. So that is on my list. Yes, after COVID, I need to get there.
Yeah, Amy's a favorite here at Life. So,
Yep.
All right,
All right, ladies.
so much.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. You guys have a great night.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Thanks.
See, how do I get out of here?
Oh,
First I have to
the red corner. Yeah.
Okay, there I go. Thank
Okay.
you guys.
Thank you. Bye-bye. All right, ladies, you can go on break. I will put the Nearpod code up. And when you get back in hopefully 5 minutes, we can get going. Thanks, guys. Hi, ladies. How are you guys? Wait a few more minutes. Oh, that's good. Thumbs up. Everybody's good. Yay. Can you guys see the Nearpod screen? Not yet. I have Abby and Lupe just checked in Nearpod, so cool. You guys are so good. I mean, you show up every night on a Wednesday night. That's grit. I mean, when I was your age, I'm like, oh, there's no way I'm gonna go a nighttime class. How's work, Brianna?
Did you ask me how my work was?
Yeah, how's work? You had like a pregnant woman, and then you had a non-pregnant woman with kids.
Yeah. It's going good. I'm enjoying it.
Are you liking it?
Yeah, a lot.
That's good. And you get credit for that, right?
Yeah, internship credit.
That is so cool that you could do it out of state.
Yeah.
I think in a way, COVID-19 sort of expanded our world.
Good for me.
Because normally we would have it locally, of course.
Mhm.
Yeah. That's cool. Abby, what's for snack? I just catch people off guard, you know.
Yeah, earlier I was having the Halo ice cream, the mint one.
Oh, those are so good. Yeah. Ice cream, my favorite. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna get started. I have 7, 8 people. I'm missing one more. Oh, I think that's it, right? Nope, 9. You guys, it's just so funny when I watch our videos again, our Zoom, the way I like talk too much. You guys put up with that every Wednesday night. That's amazing. All right, there's nine students in here. Break time is over. So we're still talking about social and emotional learning. And so this is part 2. What do you guys think of the guest speaker? Isn't it interesting how you hear so many different, I don't know, the views of the classrooms from America to another country? It's interesting. What do you think? Who came?
Question again.
Yes.
Sorry. Is that like a ministry, or is it like a missions job that she does, or is it a paid job? I didn't want to ask.
Yeah, what she is she's part of the Foursquare Ministries, missions, and I don't know how she ended up in Tunisia. Probably the same way Professor Selby ended up in Tunisia. And you know, when you go on a mission trip, say after you graduate, you end up going, and sometimes you don't know what you're going to end up doing. And so I know that she ended up being a, you know, like a teacher. Now she's in admissions. So yeah, mission trips are very amazing because you get to see all these stuff. And I don't know, like I said, if I was any younger, I would have gone to a mission trip and teach in another country just so I can have that different perspective. And so my viewpoint is coming from another country, Philippines, and coming here when I was a teenager. But any of you went to another country in elementary or middle school? You, Eunice, where did you go?
Same. I grew up in the Philippines.
Oh, you did too. Okay. So it's really interesting because like the grades are looked upon as really important in our culture. It's like, you know, you don't get a part-time job when you're in high school because you got to go study. And in our studies, and I don't know if it's the same with Eunice, but when I was younger, I used to go to school from 7 a.m. and we go home for lunch, and then we go back and we stay there till 4 or 5. I don't know if you did that, Eunice. Mine was brutal.
I don't really remember because I think I was just there until first grade. But I think
Oh, okay. Yeah. But yeah, it's like an all day thing, school for us. But yeah, the different social and emotional learning of students are from different parts of the world is really interesting. So, all right, SEL part 2. Do you guys like this topic? I love SEL. I could talk about it anytime. Just because you can always like think of somebody who needs it, who needs the SEL skill. So recall, humans are hardwired for 6 basic emotions according to Jensen. So sadness, joy, disgust, anger, surprise, fear. Those are all like hardwired in us, but and they're universal across all cultures. We all feel surprised, we all feel sad, we all feel happy, but they're also subject to cultural influences and are shaped by individual life experiences. Okay, so this is my first question. It sort of launches to another topic, but what do you think holistic teaching means? Holistic teaching. 2 minutes. I figure it's It's an easy question for you guys, so I'm giving you 2 minutes. Oh, there you go. All right, Lupe. Lupe?
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, I think holistic is kind of based on like how each person has like a different identity or meaning or purpose and like the community and like just kind of relating it to education.
Okay, thanks, Lupe.
Mhm.
All right, Abby.
Okay, so I believe holistic teaching revolves in using different unconventional methods to distribute a lesson plan. For example, if teachers teaching on like the ecosystem, like do it while outdoors instead of just learning from a book.
All right, thanks, Abby. Eunice.
I think holistic teaching is able to be carried into all parts of life, school, home, and even work.
All right. Okay, let's do a documentary on Gabby.
Personally, I'm not too sure what holistic teaching means. But if I were to take an educated guess about it, I would think it would be like more of like that students get a whole view of their education, I guess. I'm not too sure, so I could be totally wrong, but I'm just giving out a guess, so yeah.
Thank you, Gabby. Rihanna.
Personally, I'm not too sure what holistic teaching means. But if I were to take an educated guess about it, I would think it would be like more of like that students get a whole view of their education, I guess. I'm not too sure, so I could be totally wrong, but I'm just giving out a guess, so yeah.
It's weird.
Personally,
Okay,
Brianna kind of sounds like me.
yeah. Gabby and you. What happened?
I'm not too sure what
Oh.
holistic teaching means.
All right.
But if I were to take
That is so interesting, guys. Wow. All right, Lanny.
I said that holistic teaching is tending to everyone in the class and concerning yourself with their emotions, their well-being, and everything beyond just the grades that they're getting.
All right. Thanks, Lanny. Sid. Or Sid.
Okay.
Oh, Sid. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
All
So this
I see is the dark in the face of Sid. I'm
Okay.
like, am I watching this scary movie because it's all dark? And
I'm so sorry.
that's okay. You made
okay,
it. That's good.
Yes. Okay.
Do you want me to read it for you? I'm kind of losing you.
The time went too fast that what I wrote, I was trying to say that it's like using different methods that isn't really common in school. So like kind of what Abby said, like doing things outside the classroom instead of just reading a book.
Thank you. Perfect. All right, Betsy.
The first thing that came up to my mind when I read holistic teaching is like whole. So I was thinking like teaching that involves everything, not just like one area or like one subject, but like everything, including like manners or things that, you know, that are common sense for us sometimes.
Awesome. Thank you. All right. Martin, we have a guy in here? Sorry.
Yeah, I think I meant to write Martina and it cut
I'm
off.
kidding. I kind of knew that.
I ran out of time. I didn't really know what it meant.
That's okay.
What I was trying to get at was like using the I meant to put community, not connections. So it's like, I guess what everybody else was saying, like different methods of learning and going outside of the classroom and stuff like that. But I don't know where connections came from. I meant to put community.
That's okay. Thank you. Thanks, Martin.
How do I change that?
Okay, we saw Lupe, right? Okay. All right. Guys, that's good. I mean, you guys were like, all your engines in here are trying to work it through. All right. Oops, what happened? Okay. Oh, I think I'm like connecting this question to the meaning of holistic teaching. So, what does it mean? And this is an easy, cheesy question, but I had to ask this question because, guys, I'm in charge of the online classes, like online classes, not traditional online classes, but strictly online classes for Life Pacific. And so I deal a lot with professors. And the other day, I told the professor to teach with your heart and not just with your brain. So I want you guys to tell me how you interpret that teach with your heart, not just with your brain, because it's going towards the holistic teaching. All right. Let's start at the bottom. Let's start with Martin. Just kidding. All right, Martina.
So I feel like teaching with your heart means to connect to the students and make the learning enjoyable. If you go straight from the book, it may be hard for the students to stay connected throughout the lesson. And I think, I don't know, just if you act like you, not act, but like I've had teachers who you can tell they don't really want to be there and they're just going from the book, and it's kind of hard to get engaged as a student. So don't do that. But yeah, just I think engage with your students and make it enjoyable for them.
Awesome. That's why I know you guys are going to be good teachers. All right. Oops, hold on. I'm supposed to go backwards. Sorry. Betsy.
I think it means to fully like devote yourself to what you do and like love what you do, not just because it's a paycheck to like, teach what you know, because it's easy for someone to go up in front of a classroom or in front of people and just like read off of a lesson plan or things that you already know, but like to be like emotionally involved. And even though it could be draining, I just think it's what's best for like not just the classroom, but like the students and their own lives. Like they will be impacted by like the teachers and everything that they will like carry it forever.
Thanks. Awesome. All right, Sid, take it away.
Teaching with your heart is like being passionate about what you're teaching. I think students find it easier to learn when they're doing like activities that the teacher has planned, or even if they're just passionate about what they're talking about instead of reading from a book.
All right. Thanks, Sydney. Lanny.
I said it means to care about the students and what you're teaching rather than just teaching with the knowledge you have.
Yep, straight to the point. Perfect. All right, Brianna, better not be like Gabby's.
I think teaching with your heart and not just with your brain means that you're caring about the subject that you're teaching and you're caring about the students that you're teaching for, and that, yeah, you're taking it seriously, and like also teaching with your experience and things you've been through, and just being sensitive to students' needs and what kind of answers that they need to hear in the moment, and maybe using common sense. I don't know.
All right, Brianna. Okay, Gabby.
I think teaching with your heart and not just with your brain means that you're caring about the subject that you're teaching and you're caring about the students that you're teaching for, and that, yeah, you're taking it seriously, and like also teaching with your experience and things you've been through, and just being sensitive to students' needs and what kind of answers that they need to hear in the moment, and maybe using common sense. I don't know.
That is so interesting. What is happening, guys? All right. Eunice.
I put it involves passion and purpose of teaching rather than just knowledge.
Yep. Right on the target. Abby.
Okay, so I put that kind of getting in the mindset of what got you into teaching and your passion behind it, and not just lecturing, but connecting with your students through the material.
You guys have like a little mirror on your responses tonight. It's kind of awesome. You guys are on the same wave or something. All right. Thank you, guys. That is all good. Now I know you're going to teach with your heart, for sure. I'll hire you any day. Okay, holistic teaching is taking into account all the aspects of the child's experience as we teach him or her. It's always good to know, to get to know your students, where they're coming from, what their family life is like. Some of them have divorced parents. Some of them have different, the divorce is not settled. You always get this, the divorce isn't settled. The child would be at the dad's one night. The next night, the child will be at the mom's house. Just stuff that, a lot of information you can get just by listening to your students. Trust me, they'll tell you all the stuff about their family. Everything in the closet, they will share it with you. And don't listen to this information like, oh my gosh, your dad did that. More like listen to it like, wow, this is what the child is experiencing right now in their home. I remember hearing another teacher talk to another teacher saying, oh, so-and-so said that his dad was not with mom last night, was with another woman. And it's like, it's almost like they're gossiping, but instead of listening it to what happened and saying, wow, that child is going through something right now. Right now, that foundation of the child is just being ripped out underneath him. And the child shares that with the teacher. But instead of taking that information in and really helping the child, the teacher just gossiped it to another teacher. So what I'm saying is each of your children, whether you get 20 or 25, they all have different aspects with them, experiences, cultural backgrounds, family problems, and you hear them, and that's how you handle, that's how you manage your class, just by understanding them. So if the child is misbehaving, don't look at the child as just misbehaving. Look at the background of the child. How is the family life? Is the child, does he feel neglected? Does he feel abused? Is there something going on in the house? And that's what holistic teaching is. You're not just teaching from the books, like a couple of you guys said. you're teaching and trying to look at the child's experiences. Because if you do that, then you can kind of adjust your teaching and adjust your examples. And we'll get to know more about adjusting your lessons and in the instructional strategies week when we cover that. But that's what it is. All right, you guys have your teaching channel open? If you don't, you're like me, because I forgot to open mine. All right, so.
Hey, Professor.
Yep.
I wanted to ask, last week, or I noticed a couple times when you press play, like we could hear it at the same time, and I was wondering if we can just play it that way.
Oh, okay. All right, let's do
I don't
that.
know if everyone else is.
Is that okay, guys? All right. I know you guys have your subscription, so I'm not doing anything. Yeah. All right. Let me do that, but I think I need to log in. Sorry, guys. This whole thing got me sidetracked with a guest speaker. All right, so I'm gonna put up my thing here. Good?
Come on in. Hello. I'm glad you're back today. Good morning. We use a strategy to help kids come in and start their day off on the right foot. We use 3 minutes of silence, which has been an important part of our school since it was founded about 10 years ago. Apart from that, we also use the Ruler program, which is an emotional literacy curriculum essentially, and the mood meter is an important strategy or component within the Ruler program. The mood meter is a 4-part square essentially with 4 colors, and it helps kids think about how their body is feeling emotionally and also physically. So every single morning when students come in, they start by charting themselves on the mood meter and thinking about where their energy is. Is their energy high or low? And are their feelings positive or negative? And that puts them in a color on the mood meter. And then depending on what color they are in, they can start to think about strategies they can use to help get them into a place where they can do their best learning. I can tell from some of our energy, it seems like many of us are in the yellow today. So that means silence is going to be extra important, isn't it, Layla? Even though we have all these visitors and exciting things in our room, we still have to be our very best selves. Who has an idea for what strategy they will use to help them get themselves into the green during silence today? So Leia, what's your idea?
Closing my eyes.
So Leia's going to close her eyes. Anyone else going to close their eyes? Yeah? Anyone have a strategy they want to share? Or even, the fingers. I was thinking about doing that one too. So maybe you'll close your eyes like Leia. Maybe you'll count back. Maybe you'll do your thing. So you choose for yourself. When Rainier sees that we are ready and quiet, it's going to be up to Rainier to see when we are ready for silence, and he will turn the timer for us. We start with checking in every morning. It's a nice way for me to kind of see who's maybe feeling sad or maybe someone who's feeling really grumpy and I need to keep an eye on for the start of the day. And then the 3 minutes of silence is a way for our whole school to come together and put everything at home behind us and start our day on a fresh start.
Let's all get our mood meter journals out. I want you to be using your mood meter journal to help you get your body from the yellow back into the green, getting ready for math to start.
Math takes place right after our lunch recess, and we first come in and do about 5 to 10 minutes of quiet time. We use the mood meter here at the school, and so the language is getting ourselves into the green, which is a place of calmness and readiness to learn.
Use what you know to move your body into the green. Take some deep breaths. If you need water, you can give me the water signal.
The students come in from recess. Sometimes they're agitated, sometimes they're angry about something that happened at recess, or they are just still feeling very hyper and wild, and they just need to calm their bodies. So we just take 10 minutes to still our bodies, and strategies that they use to calm their bodies, such as deep breathing.
I'm looking around and seeing some kids using their getting in the green strategies, putting their heads down, taking some big deep belly breaths to calm their bodies down.
I play a video that kind of guides them through that, and they also have a journal where they can write what they're feeling getting to a point where the room just feels settled, and then I know that they're ready to start learning. In about 30 seconds, we're going to put our mood meter journals away and come to the carpet. It's a good strategy because if they are not feeling settled, they won't be able to engage with the lesson. They won't be mindful of what's happening during the lesson. And it's also just a life skill that we need to learn to prepare ourselves and be ready for the task that's at hand. And in this case, the task was math.
All right. I love it. All right. Okay. We have, I see group 2, but let's do group 1. Okay. All right. It's a random thing. Just kind of wrote from wherever your screens are. Group 1, Brianna, Abigail, Gabriella. Group 2, Betsy, Lanny, Sydney. Group 3, Martina or Martin, Eunice, Lupe. All right, so we have 3 minutes here. It's just, a quick Q&A thing. So group 3, I don't know what I was thinking here, guys. Group 3, just pick any question. What happened? Give 2. Okay. Hold on.
Professor, we actually see like a group 3 on our screens.
Oh, you do? Oh, because I used a small screen. Okay, as long as you guys have it. All right. All right, let's start with Lupe.
I just put that some self-regulation strategies that the children learned were to express their feelings.
I love that. Self-regulation is an SEL skill. So yeah, awesome. Next is Abby.
So I put that the effects of starting the day with 3 minutes of silence is that it helps reorient their thoughts and their mood, especially when coming from recess. Some students may be agitated and need to take a breather, and it also allows for better concentration.
Perfect. I wish we could use mood meters in LPU. Wouldn't that be great? All right, next, Eunice.
I wrote the students self-regulate by writing out how they feel and their expressions. They also got to take a moment of silence and a nap. So it's like bringing awareness to everything.
Yep. Thanks. Awesome. All right, Gabby.
So the effects of starting the day off with 3 minutes of silence is actually a good idea in my mind. It helps children to calm their nerves or calm their emotions that they are feeling, because sometimes in the morning when you're like getting ready, you might be stressed. Your parents might stress you out when you're like younger. Or it might just be like the first day of school and you might be anxious to see if your teacher's going to be nice or mean. It really helps. I think, in my opinion, it would really help students to like concentrate and be ready for learning. Just thinking back to like, I think it's Maslow's hierarchy of needs. It's someone's hierarchy of needs that basically puts like learning kind of closer towards like the top. So we need to like be able to like balance and regulate our own emotions and feelings before we're able to like actually start learning.
Gabby, you're covering my future slides. All right. All right, Brianna, this is gonna be interesting.
So the effects of starting the day off with 3 minutes of silence is actually a good idea in my mind. It helps children to calm their nerves or calm their emotions that they are feeling, because sometimes in the morning when you're like getting ready, you might be stressed. your parents might stress you out when you're like younger, or it might just be like the first day of school and you might be anxious to see if your teacher's going to be nice or mean. It really helps. I think, in my opinion, it would really help students to like concentrate and be ready for learning. Just thinking back to like, I think it's Maslow's hierarchy of needs. It's someone's hierarchy of needs that basically puts like learning kind of closer towards like the top. So we need to like be able to like balance and regulate our own emotions and feelings before we're able to like actually start learning.
All right, I don't know what's going on there, but Brianna, I'm sorry, I didn't even ask your answers from before.
Actually, I had the exact same thoughts.
Are your mood meters the same tonight?
Yeah, everything Gabby's feeling, I think, is great.
Aww, but I want your opinion too. I don't know what happened, so sorry guys. One of you can write later. Okay. All right, Lenny.
I said the mood meter gives teachers the information of what students are feeling so they can help them, and then it helps students to recognize what they're feeling and what they can do to move into a better category.
Awesome. Doesn't that prepare the teacher too on which student needs a little more TLC? And I think the silence thing too, it helps the teacher, right? Because you don't know what kind of morning she had, you know. She could have like gotten gas, put her coffee mug on top, and then ran off with a coffee mug on top of the car. Doesn't happen to me, but okay. Little things that can ruin your day. All right, next, Sydney.
The mood meter shows what the kids are feeling, and it can help the teacher know what mood they are in, and they can try to help them get to the green level.
Perfect. All right, Betsy.
The mood meter helps the teacher by showing her where they're at, how they're gonna like react to like the lesson, are they gonna comprehend it? And the mood meter just helps the students to realize their emotions and like understand them and like actually identify like, oh, today I'm yellow because I'm not feeling like too good, but I'm not like sad or angry. But you know, it helps them to identify and teachers to know how to teach towards them.
Perfect. All right. Martina.
I feel the strategies help the students learn how to go about their day depending on their moods. They learn the things that they should do to maintain a good attitude regardless of the mood they walked into the classroom with.
Yeah, a lot of skills there. Okay. So you see how that's all connected to holistic teaching? You kind of like have this radar on which students need the extra TLC, which student is having a hard time that day, that morning, or that afternoon. So that's all part of it. All right, break time. Woo! You guys, I don't know if you noticed, they're throwing a body behind her. I never even noticed that until later. Yeah. That's how I want to spend my retirement. All right, guys, see you later.
Professor, I wanted to show you one of my my quad mates. We work at Barnes & Noble right now, and she got me this like crystal little apple so that I can, you're muted, so that I can have it whenever I start teaching.
That is the most beautiful apple I've ever seen. Oh my gosh. You got it, girl. You're in the teaching mode. You know, once you start having apples as your decorations, you're a teacher. Yep. What grades are you thinking of teaching?
I want to do more of like elementary school teaching.
Okay.
I'm not sure like which grade just yet, because I can honestly, I love every single kid in every single grade. So for me, it's like more difficult to like narrow in which grade I want to work in first, and then like see where I work around, you know?
Aww. Did you want to show Brianna your apple?
Yeah, so do you know Courtney, my like quad mate roommate? You probably don't. She's like a transformational ministry.
Might have seen her, but
oh, okay. Well, she got me this like apple. It's like a crystal apple. And she was just like, it's probably not going to be around when you actually start teaching, so I'm going to get it for you now. And I was like, oh.
That's so sweet. That's so nice. I love when that happens.
Yeah, so it's like on my desk, and I'm just like,
oh, you're a teacher.
That's cool. To be honest, I had no idea. This sounds really bad, but I had no idea that this class was for teachers. So here I am.
Oh, what did you want to be, Brianna?
Well, like, I have no idea, but when I was little, I wanted to be a teacher, but not anymore. But I thought it was like I like it, it's good. But like, I thought maybe about like school counseling or something like that. I have no idea, but I'm liking this pregnant people stuff here. my internship is kind of fun.
Yeah, I should have asked if everybody here wants to be a teacher. The last class that I taught, everybody wanted to be a teacher. So
Oh, maybe you should ask. I'm curious if there's anyone else like me.
Yeah. But you know, this is a good class for you too as a school counselor.
Yeah, and I'm open, whatever God wants to do.
Yeah. Oh.
honestly, like, I was hoping this class would be just like the way it is, but I thought that it might be like different. Like it might go into like more of like the psychology aspect, you know? But I'm so glad that it's exactly the way that I thought it was gonna be.
Well, we'll talk about, well, it's sort of, I mean, it kind of branched out of psychology. You guys don't need any more psychology theories, right? But you can apply everything you learned, like the Maslow that you said. You can totally apply that in whatever career that you're doing. Yeah. Betsy, are you gonna be a teacher? I had to ask because I was informed by one of the don't spin you. I'm sorry, Brianna. I was informed by one of the students that she didn't know that this class is for aspiring teachers. And so I have to ask everybody, are you an aspiring teacher, Betsy?
I'm still debating because right now I work with kids from 0 to 3 and like their developmental areas and stuff. Yeah. But when I started, I don't know if you guys can hear me because my okay. But when I started like college, I wanted. But now that I'm working with like babies.
You're sort of frozen, but I sort of get it. So you're in Brianna's boat. Did you spit that water out, Brianna?
No, I didn't spit my water out. But look what my friend just came with. A bag of cookies.
Oh! Oh!
But anyways, it's also good when you're learning psychology. If you learn how to teach it, then you're really learning it.
Yeah, you learn. Yeah, awesome.
Man, I was close to spitting my water out yet.
Who eats at the cafeteria right now at school? Oh, okay. Do they still have freshly baked chocolate chip cookies?
Unfortunately, no.
I miss that.
We were getting like these packaged cookies.
Oh, okay.
They're still good, but like you can't compare that to like a fresh one.
I know, I miss those. I miss the fresh baked cookies. All right. I know Lanny wants to be a teacher. Eunice wants to be a teacher. Abby, did you want to be a teacher? Are you in Brianna's boat and Betsy's boat that you're not kind of sure? No.
Abby.
Wait, what?
Oh, did you want to be a teacher? I should have asked the whole class if their goal is to be a teacher.
For me, I actually want to open a nonprofit that has that helps with mental health and job placement and other things.
Ah, awesome.
I am enjoying this class, so I'm like, I don't know. I didn't want to really work with kids before, and now I'm like, I don't know, maybe that's a possibility.
Yeah, awesome. How about you, Martina? Sorry. What kind of cookie is that? Oh my gosh,
They're so good. I didn't think I would eat them, but they're addicting.
Class is a foodie group.
I'm not sure what I want to do yet. When I first started college, I started at community college and I was an athletic training major. And then I transferred to LPU and they don't have that. So I looked at what I could transfer the most units in and I got, so now I'm doing human development and psychology, but I've always wanted to work with kids. I'm just not sure what I want to do yet.
Right. Okay. Yeah. How about you, Lupe? Did you want to be a teacher?
Yeah, I want to be an elementary school teacher.
Perfect. How about Sydney?
Same. I want to be a teacher.
All right. So kind of half and half in this group. I know the asynchronous class, they want to be teacher. In fact, that's their internship right now. It's being with the students, kids somewhere. All right. Okay, break time 2 is over. It is 8:28. Social interactions and managing emotions. Younger children who learn to interact. Oh, sorry guys. The target dog, that's my version of Bullseye. Just so
I saw that and I was like, that's so clever. I love him.
I love the target dog. Okay, so that's Bullseye. That's gonna be a test, but you'll get a study guide and everything. Younger children who learn to interact socially with their peers and manage their emotions would likely fare well in adult life. So that's why SEL is important. Neuroplasticity, and we kind of covered that last week with one of the TED Talk shows. Angela Duckworth from Grit, she's talking about grit. She talked a little bit about neuroplasticity or brain plasticity. Human brain is more flexible in its ability to modify connections or rewire itself to learn SEL skills and behavior at a younger age. Neuroplasticity is even more critical at the high school level, where academic rigor increases and the stakes are higher. So yeah, it's more rigorous in high school, and that's the time that a lot of the SEL skills are not being taught, but they're putting it back in the curriculum because guess what, guys? I think we all need SEL training. Don't you think? Yep, I do. I did. All right. SEL in adolescence. Teachers should consider adolescence as a vital second window of opportunity for SEL skills development. So even if you're teaching in high school, it's not too late. It's not too late to instill those SEL skills in them. There is a way. And that's part of our job, really, is to instill in them these skills. Sometimes they don't learn it from home. All right, our next one is called Building School Culture with Community Circles. I love this video, so I'm gonna go ahead.
Morning, Julio. Hey, Fernando. Hey, Carlos. One way that we build community at our school is through a weekly community circle. So let's get started. Really, the focus is on having a positive and joyful environment.
You see this guy is connected to the river.
Several homerooms and their teachers come together, and we do a variety of activities and celebrations.
In my opinion, community circle is like a way to build a big, strong community. We express our feelings and we celebrate all our work.
If we have a problem, we always try to find a solution.
And we can show how we are growing together and how can we improve.
So happy to see you guys here at Community Circle today. We have a lot of exciting things to do and some surprises. One of the pillars of our model is providing socio-emotional supports for students, as well as academic and linguistic supports, because our students are all coming new to the country, and this is a new environment, new culture. So we want them to feel supported and feel part of a community, a strong community. We're gonna have some student representatives share what they've done in Elevated Thought all year. Let's give them some snaps. We usually start by going through the calendar, what's coming up in the next 2 weeks, and then we also build in opportunities to showcase student work, things that they've been doing in school, academically, or out of school.
We work as a team, but mostly we learn how to inspire us to create a painting. In front of the people, we show courage and perseverance because it's very hard and not everyone can stand up in front and talk like to the people like it's nothing.
We came to the idea, the mural can be about humans connect to life and to their environment things. I was feeling very nervous, but it was good because I was thinking that they can see what I am doing and they can be inspired.
Now, we're gonna do something a little bit different from Community Circle. We want to shout out and celebrate some of your teachers. And I know some of you guys have worked really hard to help make that happen. We're going to start with Celine. Celine, can you come join us up here, please? Ready? Loud and proud.
Dear Mr. Monty, thank you for helping me when I have problems in the class.
We also spend time doing celebrations. We have celebrations of our students, celebrations of our teachers, and really recognizing positive things that are happening.
Dear Mr. Stevenson, I want to say that thank you for always trying to help me. Enlace community is represented by the community circle because when I arrived to Enlace, I thought that Enlace only was an academy for learn English, but not it's only this, it's also an academy that shows to you how you can use your values.
Thank you for being a special teacher throughout all this year. I met them before and they showed me I can feel more comfortable. So now I'm in community circle and I don't think they are strangers. I told them as my classmates and as my friends, so I know I can participate.
So I think one piece of advice that I would give schools that are thinking about starting Community Circle is give students more and more ownership of it as the year goes on. I think it makes them more and more invested in the community.
All right. You guys see the pattern here, the whole holistic teaching, social and emotional support that we give the students. Okay. All right. 3 questions for 3 groups. Let's get started. Woohoo! All right. The question, group 1, what types of activities take place during the community circle? Brianna, let's see, Brianna.
The community circle allows the group to seek discussion and see one another and share, be able to take ownership when they're sharing.
I think we get interference in whatever. Interference. But thanks, Brianna. Man, we have some technical issues tonight. Abigail, let's see. Let me look for Abigail. Oh, you're the top one. Okay. Second one. All right.
Okay, I just realized that I made a typo, but I said the activities that take place are those of students showcasing what they've learned or worked on in class or outside of class. And another activity is that they showed was that of the students presenting the teachers with awards, and they wrote their own letters to them.
All right. Okay, the third one is Gabby. Gabby, you wrote your answers so you can give Brianna a voice. That is the sweetest thing ever. All right.
So similar to what Abby was saying, I said that the community circle, one thing that they do is they highlight like the work of the students that they've done both like academically and non-academically, so like outside of their academics, and then they also present, or they also allow the students to have the opportunity to give thanks to the teachers that really helped them in their schooling.
All right. Thanks, ladies. Question number 2. Why is the community circle especially beneficial for newcomer students? Group 2 is Betsy. There's Betsy.
I think the community circle is beneficial for newcomers just because it makes them feel included. I know going into a new school, sometimes it's like intimidating. You don't think that you'll make friends. Sometimes the people there don't seem like too open, but having this space that like the students are already opening up and like being connected with one another, it just creates a like, community within the school that welcomes anybody.
Awesome. All right. Group 2, Lanny. All right.
I said the community circle helps newcomers meet others and find that they can rely on other people. It allows them to realize they're not alone.
Perfect. All right. The third one, Sid.
I said it's beneficial for newcomers to meet new people and help them find their own community where they can feel safe, supported, and empowered.
All right. Thank you, ladies. Now we go to group 3. How could you start a community circle at your own school? And I added that at the school where you'll be teaching. But if you answered at LPU, I can listen to that answer too. So let's listen to Martin.
I wasn't really sure, but I feel like a good way to start groups is set time in class or to make it like an after school thing. So to do that, you can like make flyers to go home to parents or announcements for the students, just to put it out there so all the students or parents that feel like that'd be a good thing for the student to do, they can do that. That's why it's so that way it's open to more than just a single class.
Perfect. Thank you. Great idea. All right. So next is Eunice. Hang on, Eunice. I can't scroll at the moment. I don't know why. Oh, there. Because I was scrolling the wrong way. Okay. There you go.
I said I can start a community circle in my own school by setting out a time during class where students can better know and understand each other. They wouldn't only be limited to what they learn, but also share their talents.
That's awesome. Good idea. Oops. Let's see. Lupe.
I just put a community circle could be started by talking to other teachers and maybe all of us choosing a day to all come together.
Awesome. I love your background there, Lupe. It's all that lights and I love Martin's sunflowers. You guys have this nice decor there. All right, let's get going. All right. According to Collaborative for Academic, Social, and Emotional Learning, or CASEL, SEL Pedagogy is process through which children and adults acquire and effectively apply the knowledge, attitudes, and skills necessary to understand and manage emotions. So that silent, having a silent thing, meditation, kind of the mood meter, those are all understanding emotions. Okay, somebody said this, a couple of you said the self-awareness. But anyways, according to Cassell, these are the 5 interrelated core competencies essential for SEL. So the students need to learn self-awareness, self-management, social awareness, relationship skills, and responsible for decision-making. So let's see. So basically it's helping students learn to set and achieve their goals, feel and shows empathy for others, establish and maintain positive relationships, and make responsible decisions. Seeing their decisions as can impact other people, that's a good way of helping them make decisions. All right, next slide is teaching channel. Oh, I like this one. I like all of the videos here. So tribes, I like this a lot. It's a great way to get that SEL thing going. All right.
Let's see if we can do this quickly in a transition, get desks into groups. Tribes is an approach to a classroom learning environment, and it's looking at really the student as a whole person. Yes, Austin. There are 4 tribes agreements. The first is attentive listening. We want to be able to listen attentively to one another. That's the first agreement. The second agreement is showing appreciations, not putting people down. So it's an environment of really kind of thinking about who's helped me to be a good learner, and I want to be able to appreciate that. The third agreement is the right to pass and the right to participate. If a student gets into a space where they feel uncomfortable, they should just be able to say pass, and then we'll come back. The fourth agreement is mutual respect. We want to respect all students for whomever they are when they come into our classroom and make space for them. Okay, great. Tribes really is a process in our district that begins in elementary school. All students who walk into my classroom, when I say this is a Tribes classroom, know exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah, okay.
It's fine.
Yeah.
It's just
Thank you. There's lots of studies about engaging students socially, engaging students intellectually, engaging students emotionally. And all 3 really of those levels need to be addressed when I am working with students, assessing their work, designing then as a result our next lessons, and they need to be part of that process. And Tribes is really both an attitude that one needs to have toward that, and it offers some strategies in order to facilitate that. Okay? Okay, cool. All right. Tribes involves respect for all students. It involves students' ability to choose their best way to participate. It's their ability to both appreciate and be appreciated for their work and have mutual respect for all people.
I like that one a lot. All right. Next. All right, so we are back to activities. Group 1, Group 2, Group 3. You guys know your groups. Let's get started. All right. Okay, Group 1. How does this strategy affect class culture? Consider the word tribe as you respond to this question. First one is Brianna.
The tribe strategy affects class culture because it helps them gain mutual respect helps them both, individuals both feel like they're doing something or important and making contributions to the tribe.
Awesome. Next one is Abigail. How are you, Abigail? Oh, there you are. Okay, go ahead.
It allows for students to feel like they're in a safe environment because students demonstrate appreciation for each other and do not put others down. Another way they may feel safe is by being able to say pass when they're asked a question and they have the chance to answer it later. Because sometimes students fear being put on the spot and not knowing how to respond. And the last way would be that mutual respect is reinforced in the classroom.
Perfect. Thank you. All right. Gabby is next.
Yeah, so I said that this strategy creates a space where the students feel connected to each other. Being in a tribe can make a student feel welcomed and appreciated in the class, thus it can be easier for a student to learn in that type of like classroom setting.
Awesome. You guys got this. All right, group 2, Betsy. Let's see, where are you? There you are. Oh, question is, what are the benefits of having this approach adapted across grade levels?
I think having this system in all grade levels would benefit every student, just so they could be more engaged in their learning. They will be more attentive. They would want to be in class. I know sometimes just the stress and the anxieties that come within classes can be stressful. So having the system would just benefit students academically and emotionally.
Awesome. Well put. All right. Lanny. Sorry. There you go.
We said it allows students to adapt at a young age and put something into practice that they can master over the course of years. You can see how it impacts different developmental stages.
Yep. Exactly. Awesome. Sid.
He said it makes people feel appreciated and not have pressure to answer when they don't have an answer. I think it allows students to learn at their own healthy pace where they can feel supported. It helps students learn the importance of mutual respect and appreciation at any age.
All right. Awesome. Okay. Group 3, how does Mr. Olio, I love that name, like Oreo, but Olio, or is it Olio? I'm sorry, I'm just getting crazy. Mr. Olio engage students socially, intellectually, and emotionally. Let's start with Martina.
I put that Mr. Olio gives the students a comfortable and positive environment, and I said this allows the students to engage and be comfortable enough to speak, be themselves, and learn without being judged or put down.
Yep. Right on. Okay, let's go to Eunice. There's Eunice right there.
He goes around the classroom to answer questions. He talks to the whole class as a whole and creates a space where students are able to engage the class topic in tribes. This allows for a mutual understanding.
That's right. Good job. Okay. Lupe. There you go.
I put that he engages them emotionally by letting them pass if they feel uncomfortable answering a question, and he lets them interact socially and intellectually by forming groups and letting them interact among each other.
Perfect. Holistic teaching. There you go. All right. Okay. Oh, I love this one because it says education is a unique field. Our customers and our products are the same. They're the students. So they're both who we serve and what we send forth to the society. So it's important as educators, we produce quality products. Okay? And quality products doesn't mean, you're just sending your students know all the ABCs, the science and the math. equality is also knows how to deal with change, how to deal with conflict, and things like that. SEL. Okay, Goldman, 1998 indicated that there are 25 social and emotional competencies that are often linked to workplace success. These 25 competencies are presented under 5 headings. Similar to CASEL, if you notice it: self-awareness, self-regulation, motivation, social awareness, and social skills. Okay. Goldman is the father of emotional quotient. Yeah. Instead of IQ, emotional. Yeah. Intelligence. Yeah. All right. Let's see. Group 1, Group 2, Group 3. Yeah, it's just looking at those SEL skills. How are you going to teach them? I'd like to get your ideas. Let's start with Lupe.
I can't see your screen anymore for some reason.
Oh, you guys, same thing? You can't see my screen? Can you guys see my screen? Yes or no? Oh, okay. All right. Lupe, do you want me to? I'll go ahead and read your, unless you remember your. Okay. Are you okay?
Yeah.
You want me to read your?
Yeah, because it's not letting me like see it anymore. I don't know why.
Okay. It says, I will teach students self-awareness by having them complete assessments such as personal journals. I will teach social skills by having them interact with their journal writings. Awesome, that's so creative. All right. Eunice, you're in group 3 too? Okay, take it away.
I think that with self-awareness, I'll implement the 4 squares for them to show how they're currently feeling. I'd also give space where they can like choose whether to draw or write out how they're feeling. And then for social skills, more group collaboration and feedback.
Awesome. All right, Martina, you are here. Okay.
I think I was overthinking it with the teaching self-awareness because we just watched that video where they did use like the cards and stuff with the colors. But I was overthinking it and I wasn't sure, but I would probably do that, just like what Eunice said. But I would teach social skills by doing a good amount of group activities. I feel this will help students be comfortable speaking and interacting with others.
Awesome. All right. Now, group 2, Sydney. Sydney, right?
Yes.
I'm like getting my, what's wrong with it? Oh, scrolling the wrong way. All right, there you go.
So the first thing I would do would be to make sure that I'm modeling these 2 skills myself. So coming into class with a positive attitude and being able to empathize with students. I would teach social awareness by giving lessons about different cultures and backgrounds. So like when I was in middle school, we would bring different foods and stuff and just talk about where people are from. And then motivation just by setting positive goals and then steps we can make together to reach those goals.
All right. Thanks, Sydney. Lanny, there you go.
I said that you could teach kids motivation by using incentives and teaching the importance of what they're doing. Social awareness could be taught by informing students of what is around them and looking for them to take observations.
Awesome. I love incentives. Don't we all just love incentives? That'll motivate me. All right. Betsy. Let's go listen to Betsy.
Personally, I would teach motivation and social awareness For younger kids, hopefully, I would teach social awareness by using the mood board, I believe, or the mood timeline, I think it was called. I kind of blanked on it, but I would use that. Even if they are older in high school, I think it would be kind of cute and kind of funny to have like 16-year-olds choosing like a color for their mood just to benefit them. I also would like to use part of the 4 tribes. One of them was show appreciation and no letdowns. I would really like to use that for motivation, just to show them like, if you work hard, you will achieve greatness. And if you work harder, you're just gonna keep getting this respect from everyone.
Awesome. All right, let's go to Group 1. Start with Gabby. There you go. Oh, Gabby, you start writing your responses. You're too sweet. All right.
So I wrote that I feel that kind of like self-awareness and self-regulation kind of go like hand in hand. And I could like teach the students to be aware of their like emotions and then give them strategies like the 3 minutes of silence to help them regulate how they are feeling. I would also teach them like grounding exercises so that they can have like another tool on their like self-regulation belt.
Awesome. I like that too. All right. Abby. There you go.
I just kind of wrote about what I saw in the video. So I put that I really enjoyed the mood board. I forgot what they called it. But the students are able to come into the classroom and assess their emotions as they walk in. They are also asked what they think they can do to regulate their emotions. So one of the kids had opted to close their eyes and another one to like count their fingers. I forgot exactly what they were doing. But something I did notice that someone wrote in the board is that they could kind of stomp on the floor. And I guess that's a form of releasing that negative energy or emotions that they walked in with.
Awesome. You guys are awesome. All right. Brianna.
I think a way to teach self-awareness to students would be to have them share or have them do presentations where they can talk, and then while they're talking, I think they'll be able to hear themselves process and maybe become aware of what they're doing, and also having the students who are watching give feedback to the presentation. I think that could be a way that's helpful.
Definitely. Awesome. All right. You guys are up for break, or are you gonna tough it out? Vote, break. Whoa, you guys have grit. Okay. All right, Grandma, we're missing the 3rd break. Okay. Next slide is another video. Oh, I like this one too. Oh man, I like all of them. All right.
Today I wanted to talk a little bit before we get started about a few of the things that we're going to be working towards. As I mentioned yesterday, although not everybody's there, you shouldn't be doing a lot of work with text and images now. We should be moving towards the 3D part and the assembly part. The overall shape of your work has to be this size right here. So I'm going to be coming around to most of you today to make sure that you have a way to have a fixture at all 4 corners of your piece, and maybe the middle part. So we'll be talking about how that all works too. All the stations are up and running, so when I say go, you can all start getting your equipment and getting to work. Any questions? Okay. get started. And the theme Walls and Barriers for me moves beyond physical walls. They can be physical in some ways, but most of them are conceptual. We started off this project, it was inspired by a woman, Vanessa Barnett, and she's actually doing her PhD on education and art and social change. And so she got together with the Royal Ontario Museum and an upcoming exhibition by an artist named El Anatsui. He's a Ghanaian artist from Africa, world-renowned, and he works with recycled materials to create these large fabric-like pieces. And I was challenging my students to move beyond physical walls into ones that are more conceptual. So we started off the process by looking at some video, and the work is created using, it's gorgeous. It looks like metallic gold, but it's actually created out of the tops of liquor bottles and the lid area and some of the labels from beer cans, and they're all wired together. And so that was our artist approach, inspiration. Nations are here in this bag.
I'm gluing pills on to show substance abuse. I'm also going to do a weed and alcohol, just to show that it can be a barrier, and some people need to overcome that, but it's really hard. I'm going to connect another panel here with like a picture of vodka, and I'm going to color it. Another one, I'm going to have cannabis, and then to make it more 3D, I'm going to hang cigarettes from these two holes here. I'm going to put a wire here, and I'm going to cut it in half. And then over here, these holes are so I could connect it to another panel, and I'm doing that with bows. So they're going to be for bows. It's a big problem, and it's happened to lots of people I know, and it's something that I want this to show a message, and maybe it'll get to some people in some way.
Should I sing the end of it?
Yes, well, you have to do something to stick them together,
Yeah, exactly.
right?
So
You can use thread.
Should I just do a quick one? But then like the one. I think my theme is music, so I picked music because music everyone can relate to. Since music it's by the ear, you hear it everywhere, and it can pass through anything that's thick or hard, like a wall. So for this project, using music, it sends out a message.
The research we did related to borders between countries, walls between people socially, personal borders, limitations, blocks, things like language, culture, race. Most of my students did research, first of all, on the artist, El Anatsui, and we did that online on the computers. Then we did research on the theme of walls on computers. They then did a presentation.
For this project, we started by doing some research on walls and barriers in partners. So we tried a topic and we had to put together a presentation to present to the rest of the class. And that was kind of our intro, and we learned a lot more about like the types of walls and barriers and like visible and invisible ones, and got some more ideas of what we could do for our project. My topic was the glass ceiling, so I included points about the glass ceiling, how it's an invisible barrier and what it is and how to overcome it.
They certainly all did get experience in researching in depth on one type of barrier. They then presented to the rest of the class, and so it's a bit of a jigsaw where in the end all the students knew about all of these different concepts or terms or ideas. In this particular group, they talked about the glass ceiling, described the fact that it blocks advancement and that it was a transparent barrier, one that can't be seen physically but was definitely there. There was a fair bit of research done, and they did have to present orally, which is part of our expectations in the curriculum, to be able to articulate and express your ideas both written and orally as well as in the artwork.
From that topic, I decided to also do a barrier that isn't quite as obvious, one that's more, people tend to ignore it even though it's there, which is the barrier between kids today and nature, because no one goes outside anymore. They just play video games, go on the computer, Facebook, and like families don't really go out for like a hike on the weekend or go camping.
All students in this project, and it's being done by 11 schools and over 300 students, have a piece of paper, a piece of plexiglass this size to work with as their working space. That piece of plexiglass, however, had to be purchased, and I wanted everything to be recycled. So I got these pieces of plastic from a recycle depot called Arts Junction in our board. So these were somebody else's garbage that we inherited. So I'm asking my students to take that same footprint, but use pieces of recycled plexiglass in the project instead.
I'm trying to include both urban life and nature, but I'm trying to make it like a very big difference between the two. Like my urban pieces are in black and white and the photographs are very realistic, whereas my nature pieces are more creative, sketched out in color. I'm trying to tell kids that like there is a world outside the four walls of their house, that they should go out and see more of it.
It's their original work, or they've appropriated honestly, right, the way they should without contributing copyright, so that they're aware of the rights of artists in general. And then they had to decide how they were going to take their elements and move them onto their 3 plates, how the plates are going to be attached together, and how they can express their idea completely with this alone, without an artist statement, not necessarily having to be around to explain it. There should be enough information here to get the message across. Because this will be sitting next to 300 other pieces sitting in a large exhibition space somewhere in the Royal Ontario Museum. So the students' work will be displayed in a large public venue later on. I'm just going to take a quick look over what we have here and comment on where we're at, so that you understand what each other is doing. I'm going to talk first of all about John's work, and it has to do with gaming and how that can be a barrier to getting things done. It's interesting because my son has exactly the same problem. He struggles with something called World of Warcraft. But anyway, what I like about what John's done so far is he's talked about, is this mostly a block? Do you show the good side at all, or is it only the bad side? The bad side only. So that's what's central, and that's the reading I get. It's a negative reading of this particular technology, so that's good. It says things loud and clear.
What inspired me to pursue visual arts was my family was always very creative. So from the time I was very little, I was always sketching and drawing, and my grandma gave me lessons, and so did my mother. And they just helped me through my entire life, like learning art in different types and different mediums.
The skills I learn in this class helps me with my everyday life, because I enjoy being creative in everyday life, and it just helps sprinkles your life a little more.
Angelica, interesting. You've got drugs on your plastic. So, and this is the weed, right? So what's going to go in the central part? What's the message?
The message is substance abuse, and in the center I'm going to have alcohol,
right?
Taking out again, but not as much as that. And I might write words here, I'm not sure yet.
Yeah.
When I give feedback, I usually point out something that I really like. I'll be like, oh, that looks really cool. I like how you did that. But for this part here, maybe you could try doing this and see how that looks.
Show how it affects people. Show a person depressed or something showing they're not going through their regular life, like the footprints on.
Yeah.
Isn't it high up? You wouldn't be really able to read it.
Right. I think we have
maybe
to
like a
go-
symbolized one, like you can write one word that could symbolize represents.
When I get feedback, I'm really thankful to them because it helps me out, and I'll try to like sketch out their idea and lay it out, see what it looks like. And sometimes I won't go with my original idea or their idea. I'll try like something in between and see how that looks. I just say like give your students a lot of feedback because it really is helpful, and always be like encouraging and say that's really, really good. You can try this, maybe that might make it even better. Try this layout to really like get them thinking about what they're doing.
Well, the website's integral because it's integral in my teaching in general. When I came back to the classroom a year and a half ago, I decided that I wanted to supplement the classroom a little bit with the web. That was part of the studies I did in grad school. And it also helps to capture students who have that affinity, who like to be on screen. Some kids are more, paper and pen. Some students like to be messy in the classroom. But for me, it also was, I guess, a little bit of differentiated instruction, allowing students to have access to instruction from another venue. I also found last year that it was amazing for my students who are ESL, because I tend to speak rather quickly. And what would happen is they would start to jumble things down or not understand and then just look down and try and pick up from other classmates. I was teaching one day in this room. I had the blog up, I was giving instructions, and then I got upset because I looked down and I saw somebody else was on another website. So I charged over to say, what are you doing? And they said, I'm looking at your website and translation this. So they actually translated the website and were able to decode some of the information there. I think now I try and work my classroom kind of as a lab, where students kind of drive the process after the problem has been proposed by the teacher. So I have my website, you have to go here, you have to sit in twos and you do this activity, and it's even timed sometimes. And as I move through the process, though, there becomes a part where I'm asking students to take ownership, and then the physical construction of what's happening in the classroom changes. So I always try and start with everybody in one room and me talking. If there's been something that went on the day before that I need to correct or adjust or reinforce, I'll do that up front, and all of that administrative stuff happens up front. But on studio days after that, we literally turn into a lab. And when students come to me, sometimes it's my idea in response to a question, but oftentimes it turns back into, or after we discuss, I'll say, does that work for you? Through the process, I'm continually asking for confirmation from them. And I wouldn't like it if they just said, yes, miss. And I get a lot of pushback from this class, which I love. I'm always trying to honor their way of working, and as a control freak, I'm trying to step back and allow them to make a few mistakes first before I step in and say, this might be the solution that'll work best for you.
Our teacher allows us to put our creative imagination onto a piece of paper or any type of canvas.
The whole idea of a media lab where maybe I'm getting marks at the end or a final evaluation, but somehow students can confirm, or they know inside that they've achieved something that they want to, that they're proud of. And so for me, level 4 is when they feel like, I want it to be seen. I can talk about it. I can show it off. It's in the halls, and there's usually a huddle when I first put stuff out in the halls. And that really confirms that the learning has happened. It's not my mark that confirms. It's a student's perception and my agreement with that. It's a conclusion that we come to together. And so that's why all those building processes don't need to be marked per se. It's the culminating that really teases it out in the end, and it's confirmed not by myself, but by the class and by the student.
I love all the different kinds of stuff we get to do and all the different mediums we get to use. Because at the beginning of the year, we did film, we did 2D and 3D animation. We've done boutique, so like painting on fabric with wax. We're doing this multimedia project now. So I love all the different things we get to work with.
I think what really turns me on right now is the energy in the class. If we could take anything from the way that I operate now with my students, I think it's a mutual path that we go on. It's the voyage that I take with each student in finding their voice, both visually and verbally, and being able to express what they want. That's the most exciting thing. But it's that blooming of an idea and culturing it till it solidifies. That's the most exciting thing for me. And that's what I wish for in all my classes. It doesn't happen, but when it does, it's there's nothing like it.
All right, guys. Whoops, hold on. All right. I know that's long, but it just shows you that the projects that you have your students do, it can really make an impact for them too, and can really help them develop their SEL skills. So, yep. And I'm skipping this because I respect your time. There's not much time left. Creating SEL environments. And students need a solid social and emotional foundation before they can effectively learn and achieve. Remember Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Gabby, you mentioned that. So there you go. The most fundamental of all social and emotional needs is safety. That is both physical and emotional safety. If students are not safe from harm, how can they begin to learn and achieve? So that's something that you have to remember. Always make sure that your classroom is a safe classroom emotionally and physically. Children need to have their basic needs met before they can aspire to the higher level goals. And there is the famous Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Safety is down here, but before we actually have them achieve these higher ones, we have to make sure that they're in a safe learning environment. We must understand and take inventory of our own understanding and self-regulation of emotions before we work with students in developing these skills. And that's why we take a lot of tests, right? Our gifts test, our strengths finder, all kinds of tests. It's knowing more about you so that once you know more about you, you can help others say, hey, you know, you take this test. It helps you to learn more about you. I know introverts, when they know that they're introverts, then they know that sometimes they're getting too much social interaction, and they know that how they can revive from that is to be in an alone, to have an alone time and to go in a secluded place. But for extroverts like me, I get more energized around people. So the more people, the better. And I like alone time, but not that much. But knowing all that helps you become a teacher because you're aware of yourself. All right, this is something I want you guys to always remember. The number one named stressor for students is cold calling or being called on when you do not have the answer. This is the most stressful experience for students in K-8 classrooms. All right, now you know. I can't believe our teachers did that. Okay. Cold calling, All right. Okay, you guys have time for, it's short. It's short. Time for time to climb. We're gonna go back to Himalayas because I love Himalayas. All right, and there's only, I think, 5 questions here. Let's see who wins. All right, start popping up. Oh. Brianna, you made it? Oops, sorry, I gotta go start. Sorry, Brianna, are you here? Oh, there she is, okay. All right, Brianna's in. You're just in time for the game, Brianna. Are you able to play? There's 8. You okay, Brianna?
Yeah, I lost my connection getting it back on.
That's okay. We're waiting for you before we go up the Himalayas.
I have to log back on to the Nearpod.
Oh, okay. It's okay. There's 5 questions. Is that okay, guys? Are we gonna wait for Brianna? Let's go check. Yeah, Brianna, they said yes. I think you're there. Are you there? I see 9 players here. Let's see. Oh, there you are. All right. Okay, I'm gonna start it. My connection is bad. There you go. 2. Sydney, number 3. Gabby, number 4. And the only male, just kidding, Martina, number 5. Martin. And everybody's a winner in my class. Woo! All right, guys, don't forget your final project, part 1, is due on the 29th. So I hope that's enough reminders for you. Any questions about that? You're good? There's a template, an MLA template in there too. You guys are good. But call me, text me, email me if you have questions. Good? All right, guys. See you later. Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for letting me back in. Sorry, my connection again. Thank you. All right, bye-bye.